and I've got a story for you today. Now, I wonder if you've ever been out for a walk in the cold when you've had to get all wrapped up in a big coat and a hat, or in a big scarf and big warm boots, and gotten all wrapped up so you can go out for a walk. I wonder if you've ever done that. I love going out for walks in the cold and then coming back home where it's nice and warm. Now, looking outside, we don't really get very much snow or frost here. It's a bit more rain. But in our story, there's lots and lots of snow and frost. So our story starts with a king. And this is King Wenceslas. Now that's a really good name, isn't it? Wenceslas. I wonder if you can say that fast 3 times. Wenceslas, Wenceslas, Wenceslas. That's a bit tricky, isn't it? Now, it was the day after Christmas Day, and King Wenceslas was in his palace, and he'd had wonderful celebrations. He'd had lots of food to eat, lots of wine to drink, and he had a wonderful fire going, warming everybody up. And he was so full and so happy, he was having a look out of his window at the snow falling all around. And as he looked out, he saw something, and he thought it might be a wild animal. But he looked a bit closer and realised it was a man who looked very cold. So he called over one of his servants, a young page, and he said, "Who is that out in the snow, getting really cold?" And the young servant had a look, and he said, Oh, it's just an old peasant. I think it might be Vladimir. Yes, I think he's collecting wood for a fire at home. Oh, King Wenceslas looked at Vladimir, and he said, "Where does he live?" Oh, a long way away," said the young page. "Oh, at the foot of the mountains, I think." "Why do you ask?" And King Wenceslas said, "Because we are going to help him. Quick, get some food and some wine and some logs." The young servant looked very surprised. He said, "But all of your guests, your Christmas celebrations." And King Wenceslas said, "How can I celebrate when that poor man can't even keep warm and have nice food to eat and have a lovely fire in his house? We're going to help him. Quick, get me some food, some wine and some logs." And the young page, well, he couldn't say no to the king, could he? So he collected all of those things and they bundled them all up, and they probably put their hats and scarves and coats on, and they set out into the snow to follow Vladimir back to his house. And they started walking and trudging through the snow and the frost, getting colder and colder as they went. And soon the young page started feeling very tired, and he couldn't keep up with the king. They'd started off walking side by side, but now the young page was falling further behind. And the wind was howling, and the snow was falling, and and the frost was getting frostier. And the young page called out to the king, "I don't think I can go any further. I'm getting so tired, and my feet are cold, and my hands are cold. I don't think I can go on." Oh no, what's going to happen now? What do you think King Wenceslas will do? Do you think they went, "Do you know what? We tried really hard, but it's too difficult. Let's go home"? We could have said that. And King Wenceslas did think, "I want to help this poor peasant, but it's not worth risking the life of my young page. What can I do?" Then he had an idea. So he said to his young page, "Follow behind me. Put your feet in my footsteps in the snow, and then you may find it a bit easier." Ooh. So that's what the young page did. Every step that King Wenceslas made, the servant took exactly the same steps. And as he put his foot in the footprint made by the king, it became easier and easier. It was almost as if the snow had been warmed by the king's foot. And soon they got to Vladimir's house, and they knocked on the door. What do you think Vladimir thought when he saw King Wenceslas at his door? Do you think he invited him in? I think he did. And King Wenceslas went inside and said, "I've brought you food and wine and logs so that you can build a lovely warm fire." And Vladimir was so thankful. He couldn't say thank you enough. And the story of King Wenceslas spread throughout the land. I wonder if it was that young page that maybe told everyone the story. Who knows? But it's not just a story. It's also been turned into a song. You might know it. Good King Wenceslas. Should we give it a sing? We're just going to sing the first verse, and then maybe you can find the rest of the song somewhere else and sing along the whole thing. It goes. Good King Wenceslas looked out on the feast of Stephen, where the snow lay round about, deep and crisp and even. Brightly shone the moon that night, though the frost was cruel, when a poor man came in sight, gathering winter fuel. What a wonderful story about a king that helped a poor man. And I've got some crafts we can do to do with our story. And we're going to make some snowflakes. All those snowflakes falling down and laying on the ground. And I've got 3 different ways of making snowflakes. We're going to make some that look a bit like this and are shimmery and shiny. We've got some that look like this with beads. And then we've got some made out of paper like this. So snowflakes, 3 different ways. There we go. 1, 2, 3. For this snowflake, we're going to need 3 lollipop sticks, wooden sticks. So I had a pack of these in my craft box. We need some tin foil. We don't need too much of it. You might need some scissors and some glue. So what we're going to do is we're going to take one of our sticks and we're going to just wrap it in our tin foil. So make sure you're wrapping it nice and tight all around, and then you might need your scissors just to trim off the extra bits. And the joy of tin foil is you don't need anything to stick it down with. And then we've got the ends. So just fold it all in. There we go. So we've got our stick covered like this, and we're going to do that with all three of them. So we end up with 3 shiny sticks like this. And as you can see, they might be a little bit crinkly. So if you don't want them crinkly, you can just use your thumb to just get some of those creases out. But at the same time, we can leave them like that. Then what we're going to do is we're going to stick them together in a snowflake shape. So we could put one straight up and down. We use a bit of glue, whatever glue you've got lying around. Pop that in the middle. And then this one, we're not going to put it straight across. We're going to put it on a diagonal. And we're going to press that one in. And then a bit of glue on that one. And we put our third stick on the opposite diagonal, just like that. Give it a bit of a press. And there we have a shimmery snowflake. And if you wanted, you could tie a bit of string or cotton around it so that you could hang it up in your window. And with that tin foil, it will reflect the light and look all frosty and chilly. For this snowflake, we're going to need 2 pipe cleaners, preferably white, or they could be blue, some scissors, and then I've got a box of beads that I had from a set that I didn't use, but I had a spare box, and there's lots of different colours and shapes and sizes in there. So first of all, what we need to do is we need to cut our pipe cleaners in half. So I'm just going to fold it in half, find that middle bit, and cut. And I'm going to do the same with this one. So now we have 4 smaller pipe cleaners, but we only need 3, so I'm going to put that one over there. And we're going to make our snowflake shape. So we have 1 up and down, 1 diagonal, and another 1 diagonal there. And then we're just going to wind one of our pipe cleaners around. You could do it with a couple of them just to make sure it's nice and secure, and then just reshape. Oh, da, 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 da. There we go. So we have our snowflake shape. Now is the fun bit. You can be as creative and colourful as you want. We're going to get some beads and we're going to thread them onto our pipe cleaners, and just like this, and you can leave a bit of a gap in between so you can see the pipe cleaner in between, or you can push them all the way up to each other if you'd like. It's totally up to you, and you can have different beads on different spokes around here like this, and just have a bit of a play with the colours of beads that you have until you are happy with your design. And once you've done that, you will have something that looks a bit like this. And then to finish it off, we're just going to get the ends and we're just going to fold them over, watching your fingers so that the beads don't fall off. And I've done that with all the ends. And there we have our sparkly beaded snowflake. And if you wanted, you could get that spare bit of pipe cleaner that we had and you could wrap it round the top so that you've got something to hang it up with, or you could use thread or cotton and you could hang that in your window or on your Christmas tree. For this snowflake, we need a piece of white paper, some scissors and a pencil. So first of all, we've got our white paper, but we need it to be a square. The easiest way to make a square out of an A4 piece of paper is we're going to fold this point up to the top and line up this edge with that top edge. So we get a nice point and we get a triangle. And then we cut at the size. Remember, if you're using scissors, be very, very careful. And if you need someone's help with scissors, please do ask. There we go. So now we have a square. And we're actually going to keep that fold just like that. And then we're going to fold it in half again. So we're going to fold those points until they meet. So we get another triangle. There we go. Now we're going to do one more fold in half, but we're not going to keep it folded in half. So I'm just going to push that down gently and then open it up again so we can see that middle line. Then what we're going to do is we are going to fold this bit over, but we're going to fold it further than that line. We're going to fold it to about there, making sure we get a lovely point still at the edge. Now it might mean that you need a couple of goes at this. So I'm going to try that because then this bit needs to fold over as well. I'll see, I've not quite got that right. So I'm just going to try again. I'm going to bring it in a little bit, keeping that point. Let's see if this works. There we go. That's a bit better. So that we get a shape like this. And then I'm just going to snip off this top along that line. And we don't need those bits. So now we have a triangle. And we have one side which is completely closed and the other side which is open with all the folds. And I'm going to put that closed edge on this side. Now I'm going to get my pencil and I'm going to draw my design for my snowflake. So you can have a bit of fun with your design for your snowflake. You can have a bit of a play to see what might work for you. And see what different designs you can draw and then what shape of snowflake that will make. So you can see my design there and I'm going to now cut this out. Again, please be very careful with scissors and if you need help, go and ask for some. There we go. So we have our design all cut out and now we're going to unfold it and see what snowflake shape we get. Well, it can be a little bit fiddly. There we go. Our snowflake design, and you can have a bit of a play with this with different designs. So for example, here's my triangle that I tried and I've just cut some little bits out in different shapes. I've even cut a bit of a zigzag up the top, and when we unfold it, we've got something very different. Oh, so there we go. You can have a bit of a play and see what different snowflakes you can make. Well, I hope you enjoyed making all of our different snowflakes. I've even put some in my tree to remind me of that cold, frosty story. Bye!